Welcome, YouTube friends and family, to today's Adventures of the Wellness Homesteader, where we are going to be doing a sewing project. So this video may take a couple days to film. You know, I can remember being critical of people saying, well, you know, their video is too short or it's too many parts. I totally understand that now. So even when I'm cooking, I have to wait for the item to cook. I have to plate it. I have to clean up the kitchen. And then I have to do a taste test. So it's not just as simple as boom, 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 and you're done. But y'all know I love me some crafts. And I want to thank y'all for your lovely comments on my last video saying, you know, I look joyful. Y'all, I do enjoy my crafting. And it's been kind of a long road with my cancer diagnosis. And just so you all know, because I don't think I made it like super clear, even though I've had a dramatic improvement that I'm so grateful for. The reason I'm on immunotherapy is I'm not cancer free. So I still have the tumor. It's almost just half the size. It's a little bigger than half the size that it was. The one on the right, I think, is dead, based on what I've been told. But that's why I'm on the immunotherapy. So immunotherapy is definitely not without side effects. So I'm going to do my best to be really faithful on making videos. You may see me sitting more. We're not going to be doing things outdoors while it's 90 flipping degrees. And the reason I'm wearing a tank top today, although, y'all, it's one of my faves, is because fall can be hot in Ohio. So it says it's just a bunch of Hocus Pocus. If you've all seen the movie, I thought it was a really cute shirt. It is a racerback tank. I don't really have the arms for it, but you know, hey, at least my arm doesn't, and I have a bruise there. Old woman. Seems like every time I carry something in my arm like this, it pinches my fat and I have a bruise. Okay, enough about that. So I am going to try to do crafts that are fall related or harvest or even Thanksgiving related. And then on the other hand, do my favorite, which is Halloween. But I love the fall stuff too. And I use both. So I thought I had ordered this, and indeed I had. I ordered myself a Halloween jelly roll from Amazon, and I really like this fabric because it is, well, this is all gobbled up. It is more of a cotton where the other's more of a nylon-ish polyester. So here's just some of the prints. It's a little bucket of candy or cauldron of candy, little witches and haunted houses. This just says witches, super cute. Pumpkins, more pumpkins. So there's a bunch of different ones. This isn't all of them by any stretch. Had a great variety, and it's a huge package. Like, I probably won't use that during my natural lifetime, but let's say I'm going to make a table runner. If I didn't say that, did I say that? I don't know if I said that. Let's say you're not interested in a table runner. It doesn't fit your lifestyle. You have littles. Maybe you eat at a raised countertop, you know, with like bar stools. Y'all, I'm sorry, I'm fighting the hiccups. Chemo didn't cure my hiccups, that's for sure. Did make half my hair fall out. Y'all, I apologize about the way, you know, you can see how much my hair has grown and how silver it is. I'm just not going to color it right now. Because my hair is falling out in handfuls. I've lost about half of my hair, and I know you can't tell it as much with this style, but that's why you can see so much of my scalp, especially here. There you go. Especially in my crown. You know, it's discouraging, but it's hair and it will grow back. So I did get, believe it or not, Medicare will pay for one really nice wig up to $350. So like a human hair wig. I did get a prescription for that. I just haven't gotten up the courage to go. I feel like I'm about to cry. but that option is there. I have a couple wigs that were gifted to me by a friend who had breast cancer, which I really appreciate. And so I have that option. One of them was really, really cute. It's like a little bob. Both of them are quite a bit darker than my natural hair color. And the third one, which is the really nice one that I think is human hair, it's flat out medium brown, and I look ridiculous with dark hair. I colored it dark once, just once before I went and got it bleached out. All right, so what can you make with these? So we were talking about table runners. I've been talking about everything. You can make placemats. So just cut the strip. So the strip is this long. It's perfect length. And it's 2.5 inches wide. It's perfect length for my island. So that's what I'm making these for. You know, my little cabinet that's in the middle of my kitchen, you can put it across the table. You can make the placemats, just cut it down to maybe this big. And you're going to get lots, you know. Every length, you'll get at least 2 placemats with a little left over for the scrap bin. You could make, if you're very ambitious, a quilt, which might take you 100 years to sew all these strips together. Or you could even make like a little tablecloth. Sew these together, sew fabric in the dimensions of your table. There's all kinds of options that you can do with these. I just think they're super cute, and it saves all this cutting. This is pinked on the edge, so it's not gonna ravel. So what I do, y'all, is, I think it goes this way. I laid mine out, and it takes 7 for my particular application. I laid it out, and I'm gonna do like about a 1/4 inch seam, and then each seam that I make, the way I like to do it, I press it open. So let me just show you one. You don't need to see me sew 7 of these, and I'll show you one way that I press it, and that should be sufficient. The real, I think, instructional part is going to be the quilting. So what you will need besides these is you'll need some batting. You'll need a backing fabric of your choice. You could do strips on both sides. I'm not going to. I'm just going to hiccup. And then if you want to make it truly look like a quilt, and you're going to sandwich those layers together, you're going to need some bass tape. I couldn't think of what it was called. So I buy this, guys, in big rolls because I sew a lot. And when I was actually selling a lot of placemats and table runners, I acquired quite a few colors. So here we go. My let's see, haven't sewed in a hot minute. My machine will automatically fix or knot the thread because I have the fix button down. And I'm just sewing. Guys, it's super easy. I don't pin it. I just hold it. Now, could you find different lengths of fabric? You very well can, depending on the quality. This one is really excellent. And I'm surprised. Let me put that. How do you put the needle down? Like that. This batch didn't have as high of a rating as I thought it would have when I actually got it, because it's, you know, so many strips and such a high quality of cotton. So let me finish sewing this strip so you don't have to listen to me over the machine. I'll take you over to the ironing board and we'll get it pressed open, and then I'll continue on getting the 7 strips sewn together, and we'll come back and talk about how to back it, how batting, what kind would you maybe want to use, you know, how to poof it out, and then we'll do a little bit of quilting. All right, stay tuned. Here we are at the ironing board. Probably could position you a little better. So, as I said, sometimes they're a little bit different lengths, and when you open it up, it looks lovely. So since this is directional, I'm gonna have to make sure, actually it goes this way. I'm gonna have to make sure that my words are not upside down. So I'll have to pay attention to that, or backwards or whatsoever. So all I'm gonna do, y'all, I've got my iron heated up. I'm gonna kind of finger press that seam open so I can get it started. It's a very tiny little 1/4 inch seam, but I press each, oops, each strip, sorry. I'll get that thought out of my mind. I'll show you here in just a second what it looks like. I do a lot of finger licking. Sometimes fingernails are at advantage and sometimes fingernails are at a disadvantage. I have always been able to grow nails all my life, and one of the things they told me or warned me of when I got chemo is that my nails would become very brittle and split, and even some people would develop like holes in their nails. Yeah, that didn't happen. I'd almost rather that happen though than my hair. But we don't get to pick our side effects, do we? So let me just show you. I mean, y'all know how to iron. This is what it looks like pressed open. So this is gonna make a nice flat application. If you don't iron your seams open, they get weird bumps in them and they just don't lay as nice. I think it's the mark of a quality sewn product. And since these will probably last the rest of my natural lifetime, and it's not my son's jam to have anything extra, he's such a minimalist, you know, in my estate sale, once I'm gone, you'll get some really nice sewing projects. All right, guys, let me finish stitching the ones that I've chosen together. So, of course, I'm going to use the kitty. The kitty is next. And the kitty says, boo. So Franklin approved of what I chose. All right, guys, stay tuned. There's 3 ways we can finish this. I'm going to do this one very simply because of the table runners I'm going to use. Even though I love Halloween, it will be up the shortest amount of time and probably be a feature on my table versus on my rolly cart or whatever you want to call my little makeshift island. So 3 ways. So here's what I have made. So I have the 2 fabrics done right sides together. So the backing fabric, which is just multicolored pumpkins, and the strips we sewed together, pinned to some quilt batting. Now I can sew all the way around it, leaving an opening for turning, which how I remember to do that, y'all, I use yellow glass head pins, and for turning, I only have 2 of these. I don't know what I'll do if I ever lose or break one. 2 teal color pins, so I'll remember not to sew in that area. I'll trim it down, I'll turn it, I'll press it, I'll top stitch it, and voila, we're done. We won't require any bias tape. Second way you can do it is you can put one of your fabrics right side up, put your quilt batting behind it, and then behind that with the pretty side down. So it's going to be just like it will be on your table. You sew it all the way around, trim it down, and then you can use the double fold bias tape. Why am I not doing that? Well, let me share something with you. So this is double fold bias tape. So it has, it's double folded. You'll notice it's even. So both sides are even. When you go to put it on a quilt, pardon me, sometimes the bias tape does not want to lie flat, and so the sides don't end up even when you're trying to sew it down. So they'll be a little bit skewed depending on the bulk of whatever you're quilting. When that happens, unfortunately, you end up not catching pieces of your bias tape, so you get gaps, and the bias tape can go up and down, up and down, up and down. So there's a skill to sewing on bias tape, Probably the easiest way to do it, if you like the look, the finished look of bias tape, is go ahead and do what I'm going to do and then sew the bias tape on, because everything's nice and flat and much more even. What is the other way I was thinking you could do it? So we got bias tape. Well, that is the third way. Sew on the bias tape after you turn it and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to sew along. I've lined everything up. I've been crawling around on the floor, griping about my back hurt. I might as well tell you the truth. And it is hot. This craft room is, it faces west. It is the hottest room in the house. Great in the winter. I love sewing in the winter. I'm not so crazy about sewing in the summer, but my bedroom's right over there, and I can go lay on my big comfy bed and take a snooze or just take a rest on my back. So I'm going to start here at one of the teal color pins. Doesn't really matter, I guess, where you start, except that I don't want to have to break the thread twice. And I want to do a really good back stitching and fix, because you're going to put some stress on those seams when you go to turn it. So let me take care of this, and I'll meet you at the ironing board when I've got it turned and we're ready to press. It does require a lot of pressing. All right, guys, see you shortly. Oh, this is turning out so cute. So here's the back fabric. Here's the front fabric. I have turned it right side out, and now we're going to give it a good press. So, as my 7th grade home ec teacher used to say, you sew with your iron first. And that just means iron everything. It was Mrs. DeLuca. She was not my favorite person at all. She could be really bossy New Yorker. Not that all New Yorkers are bossy. And I'm just picking off some threads here, but oh guys, how cute is this? Now, where we left it open to turn, you're gonna wanna fold that in and press it. So when we top stitch around it, it will catch that. You won't have an open area. Really cute. I love the different colors. I like the little accent of the yellow. I wasn't sure about it when I put it in there, but it was cute. So I decided to do that. I don't know why there's a little bit of a tuck here, but it won't hurt anything. Let's see if I can iron it out. Oh yeah, I can. Sometimes when you start to sew with a lot of layers, it's hard to get everything flat and even. And what I'm trying to do with ironing here is iron it in such a way that the back fabric isn't showing, just the front fabric. And you can see, one thing to note, your outer strip is going to be narrower because you've sewn that in the seam, but it would be covered with the bias tape if you use the bias tape method. So I am just going to top stitch this one because it's super cute, and I think it doesn't need bias tape. Some of them look good with bias tape. Some of them I don't think it's necessary. So here we go. How adorable, guys, is this? Oops, I might have ironed a wrinkle in it. How'd I do that? The iron is really hot. So how cute is this, y'all? Very cute, don't you think? Let's do it this way. So I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine. I'm going to top stitch as soon as I get these wrinkles out. Yeah, I did iron a few wrinkles in it. I'm going to top stitch around, and we will have our Halloween table runner finished. So I'll see you then. All right, y'all, let me catch up with where I am. So this is the back. This is the front. I turned it, I pressed it, and then I added the 1/4 inch stitching all the way around. I'm still pulling out some threads, but super cute. Now I realized I need to start quilting. So I'm doing a very simple quilt. Y'all, if you've never quilted before, what it means is sewing layers together. My machine has some fancy dancy ways you can quilt. It has some free arm, it has all kinds of things. But I just want this simple. This is not an heirloom keepsake. So let me show you what I've done. Can you see the crisscross, or the cross, I should say? Compared to this, it really adds that dimension to it. So it takes a lot of thread, a lot of patience, and a lot of time. So what I'm doing is I have a seam gauge, and I have to laugh because this one, I don't know if y'all can see. Can you see my initial, see my name etched in there? Still says Kym Clark, which was my maiden name. So this is from home ec when I was 12. So it might be 52 years old. It's like an antique gauge. I bought a new one, or it came with something. I don't like it. I don't use it. So what I'm doing is I'm holding this gauge at the 2-inch mark. And I can show you here, but I'm holding it at the last stitching, and then just moving the gauge ahead of the needle. You don't want to hit this disaster. And is it 100% perfect, like geometrically perfect? No, but you won't notice with all the patterns and everything on here. I know somebody's going to ask me, so I'm just going to address it right now. Somebody's going to say, are you making those to sell? Y'all, I never want to disappoint anyone. I never want to. I like to under-promise and over-deliver, because I would be devastated to promise you something and then not come through with it. So my answer to that is I don't know. I want to try the slicker fabric before I would commit. I have a feeling that's going to be a little more difficult to sew with, maybe difficult to press open because it's going to require a lower iron temperature. So here's what I will tell you. If you are interested in a table runner similar to the one I made, because I can't guarantee, well, I know I don't have enough of the backing fabric, so I would have to use something different. But if you are interested, hit me up via email. My email is always in the description box. It's just like it sounds, sweethoneybath, all one word, @gmail.com. That was my soap business. Well, is my soap business that I don't do anything with right now because I've been a little busy with chemo and radiation, but at any rate, let me know what you want. I can tell you how long. It's going to be a set length. I can alter the width. So let me see here. It's going to be a set length because the strips are only so long. So they are, but it's perfect even for a pretty good sized table runner. Okay, it is about 40 inches. So a little over 3 feet long, and it is, wait for it, it's a little over 1 foot wide. So I can make it wider, I just can't make it longer without piecing the strips, and I don't know how good that would look, honestly. So at this point, and I have Christmas too that I got last year and never opened, been a little busy. I still have plenty of the Halloween fabric, and I have some of the just fall with the pumpkins. It's a little more colorful, I showed on the last video. So you'll have to let me know. Price is going to depend on the size that you want and what exactly you want. It would be more than what you would pay at a store, but for handcrafted, very well made, won't fall apart in the washing machine product, the price will be fair. All right, guys, let me get back to sewing, and might have to rest my back before I go sew. But I think this is turning out so cute. You can also do like like a crisscross, but I don't want this to get too busy, so I think I'm gonna just do it one direction. It'll be plenty quilted. The pumpkin one, because I think I'm gonna use beige thread instead of black, that might have a double crisscross. So anyway, we're not gonna work on that. I've already decided that's gonna be like another video. I don't know if it'll even be part 2. It'll just be another video because I have something else I want to work on, and that is my Halloween throw. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. All right, y'all. We're doing our final pressing of our very, very cute quilted. I'm glad I decided to quilt this. You don't have to. All the layers are even and secure inside. And if you wonder what iron I'm using a Rowenta Perfect Steam. Right now, I have not found it available anywhere. It was linked in my description box. But y'all, how cute is this? With the quilting, I think it is just adorable. And what's really cool about it, you can flip it over and use it for fall, harvest, Thanksgiving. So this is kind of a twofer. But I really love the Halloween decor. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. My intention, y'all, was to do 2, but I've been at this 4 hours, and I do have other things to do today. You know, I think people are sometimes surprised at prices of craft items or handmade items because they don't factor in, it's not just materials, it's time, it's creativity, it's, you know, your own design type thing. But this, my friends, will get a lot of years of use and enjoyment. If you've enjoyed today's video, go ahead and smash that like button. Drop me a comment below. Would you consider making a quilted or a non-quilted table runner for your holiday needs? You could do harvest, you could do just fall colors. It doesn't have to be Halloween themed, but I like that this has sort of a dual purpose. I plan to see you all very soon. I'm trying to keep my energy level up. It's not always easy, let me tell you what. But I'm trying to rest frequently. And I was told by the oncologist, guys, not to always make this about me, but it is about me somewhat, that it would be 2 to 3 months before the radiation is completely, the effects of the radiation is completely out of your system. The chemotherapy goes away faster at about the 3-week mark. So I will be at the 3-week mark today. So I'm really hoping that my hair stops falling out and I start to feel, you know, a little more energetic. I'm still anemic, but I'm trying to eat well, so that counts for something. All right, guys, I'll see you very soon. But until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and take care.